afternoon. Last lightning talk and then the last breakout session before Ship It Live, which is pretty awesome. We're going to get started pretty quickly. Sean will stick around afterwards if you do have questions. He'd love to hear from you. Little fact about Sean, we get about, and he'll tell you this in a minute, we get about 10,000 pieces of feedback a day from you. Sean reckons he reads every single one of them. I don't know whether that's true, but you can test him. If you've given us some feedback, ask him about it. So look, please welcome Sean Cramer to the stage, our head of Voice of the Customer.
How's everybody doing? Well, that sounds exciting. All right, so I'm just going to take a couple of minutes and talk to you a little about the Voice of the Customer. As Alistair said, myself and my team are part of the Voice of the Customer team here at Atlassian. What does that mean? Well, as you probably all know, our success is our customers. It is you. So as we, as a company, and as Voice of the Customer, our goal is to understand your pain and your suggestions so we can improve our company. Now, particularly as you know, we've got a lot of different and fun culture as a company, but one area that I want to talk to you about is that one right there. I'm not going to fully explain what that means, but I'm going to assume that all of you know what that squibbly line is. Not only in our values, but also in our culture, we do appreciate everything that is sent. Now, as Alistair mentioned, we collect feedback through numerous different areas. One particular area that is extremely important to us is an area called Net Promoter Score, or NPS. NPS is by capturing and asking you, as well as your end users, what your opinions of our products are and how likely you are to recommend the product to your colleagues, to your friends. That's gauged by asking a 0 to 10 question and then the feedback. Now, the number is valuable, and it helps us to kind of understand where we stand and what we can do to improve. But our value really comes back in the feedback that we get from you. Now, as Alistair mentioned, we receive about 10,000, an average of about 10,000 comments a day. And over the last couple of years, months, we've really taken that information and there you go. It doesn't want to look like. Has done really communicated with the company. Now, this is an actual picture of a screenshot that we actually do for all hands. Now, as we started getting some of this feedback, we initially printed all of your feedback out and shared it with the company. This was a couple of months ago. We actually printed out a large amount of feedback and actually handed it out to every single employee as they came to our all hands. Every single one was unique, so they were able to hand it, understand your feedback, and then pass it along. We didn't want to burn down trees and continue to do that, so we actually make it digital, and this same information is actually sent out to our employees every single week. Now, as we've kind of looked at this, we looked at how the year has totaled in our feedback. And last year, we received over 700,000 pieces of comments from our customers. Now, as Alistair did say, we do not read every single one of them. It's hard to do, and we don't have a team of hundreds of people that go through that. But one of the things that we started to understand is what are the common themes where we could understand pain or advice. Now, as we started looking at some of that feedback, we were able to kind of categorize that information into 3 specific areas. And if some of you went to some of the recent talks in the last couple of days, a couple of our employees talked a little about some of the ways that we're categorizing that. One particular way that we certainly talk a lot about is something called RUFF. RUFF stands for reliability, usability, and functionality. So as we started getting a lot of the feedback from many of you, many of your teammates, we saw that the feedback could be categorized in 3 core areas. Was our product fast? Did it need to be improved in speed? Usability. Was there things that we could do to help you with the training, the experience, the overall site experience, the product experience? And last was their feature. There were specific areas that needed a little more feature set. Maybe a product that you were using where our product didn't have that feature and really would have helped you. So one of the things we ended up doing is created a machine learning language to be able to categorize this. And we something that certainly can talk to many of you after is we're working with other companies and would love to help you guys to figure out how you categorize that content. Now, as we looked at that, we gathered that all information, and we strongly believe that insights without action is absolutely useless. So our focus was really to understand how we could action this to our company, to our management team, to everybody, to make sure that we were affecting change. So one of the things I want to do in the next couple minutes that I have here is I want to talk to you a little about some of those changes. Now, one thing I do want to note, as you look at some of these changes and some of these key areas that we're working on for this year, is a lot of this are things that are currently active. We don't have timelines for them. Certainly not going to give you specific dates. I can't, but I can tell you that these are areas that our teams are working on. So first, let's talk about a little about Confluence. So some of the feedback that we started getting from our customers were core areas such as editor improvements. Viewing, creating, and navigating, we wanted to make sure that it was fast, seamless. Experience, making sure that the experience into Confluence was intuitive and that you could resume the work wherever you were. Last but not least was also that JIRA integration, making sure that it was easy to view and share and report on the work that you were doing in JIRA. And a lot of this stuff that we were seeing and some of this feedback really was really great perspective of areas that we know that the teams are working on, and many of this was brought up from Wendell and the Confluence team yesterday in the keynote. Let's talk a little about JIRA. So JIRA, some of the core themes that we have shared with the product management and they're working on is to make sure that the performance and the speed of our products are there. In addition, you'll see some themes throughout all of this was our overall experience, making sure that usage was there. I'm sorry about that. That's horrible. That we were simpler and easy to use. And last but mobile. We talked a lot yesterday about the mobile experience and making sure that regardless of where you are and what you were doing, that the mobile experience for you in managing your products was there, your projects. The next is this is HipChat. One of the biggest things, as you've probably seen for this year, is the connectivity. We really wanted to make sure that as we shared some of those insights with our product owners, was that the connectivity to our products were there. In addition, notifications, receiving every single ping regardless of where you were and what you were doing. And last but not least, and extremely important to us within the product area, is the reliability. Making sure that you had the best experience and that you didn't have any outages. With this is Bitbucket. So in addition to some of the performance and key areas of usability, we really wanted to make sure that we gave some of that feedback when it came to some of our search. Not only were you looking at improving that search, but the performance and the accuracy of what was returning there was extremely important to us. As also we mentioned with the Git LFS information and stuff that we talked about yesterday, was we wanted to make sure that we were clear on how you could track that. The last one is Service Desk. Now, one of the things that we wanted to make sure, and again, you probably saw a lot of this as it was themed throughout the year, was making sure it was simple and easy to use. I know that as our product teams focus for a lot of this information this year, is to focus on how our products are easy to use. Not only on the ease of use, but the customization. Give your teams the opportunity to tailor service desks to meet your needs. And last but not least, it says, add something here with the smiley face. I wanted to make sure that some of the information that was viewable, that you guys are aware, as some of the stuff that was talked about yesterday. Our features are extremely important to us. So we wanted to make sure that this year, as we talked a little about the keynote, was some of those key features that I'm not privy to, but some of the stuff that the teams are working on this year and stuff that they've presented in the All Hands. So I don't have a lot of time on the end of this talk, but I want to make sure that you guys are aware that we are actively focusing on your feedback. Not only in the outrageous amounts of feedback that we get, we absolutely appreciate it. A lot of customers that we've talked to have felt that, is it a black hole? Am I sharing feedback and it's not being shared out? I can absolutely tell you that every ounce of feedback that we get goes through our process, is categorized, and is shared with our product managers. If you have any questions on the RUFF process and how we categorize and some of the theming that we saw for this year, or you would like a little more insights and give feedback, we would absolutely love you to reach out to us. Last but not least, probably a number of you are on using our server instances. That NPS modal that I showed you earlier is available now in our server environments. So if you aren't the admin, all I ask is that you please talk to your administrator, ask them to turn on the NPS modal so we can start collecting some feedback to help improve our server experience. Thanks, everybody.